When you look at Audible's top 100 listens, the books are not ranked, but Project Hail Mary is always the first one. It was the 2022 Audie Audiobook of the Year, and this book is all over discussion boards when people are talking about best audiobooks. So what is it that puts this book on everyone's radar? Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. I've owned the Project Hail Mary audiobook for quite some time. I got a deal on it way back when, and I decided I would save it for a time when I really just needed a good listen. I had high expectations for it, given all that I had heard, so after a recent dud, I decided to pick it up. I fell hard into this book, but before I talk about the plot and characters, I just want to say that I don't want to spoil anything for you. I went into this book blind, and I was fortunate enough to have had absolutely nothing spoiled. I had a general sense of what the book was about. I think a lot of people do, but I didn't know any details, and none of the twists and turns in it had been given away to me. So I'm looking to preserve that same experience for you if you haven't read this book before. We must start with the narration. Ray Porter is nothing short of amazing. He really does the most phenomenal job with this book. Now, I Googled him immediately thinking this guy has to be all over the audiobook universe, and he is, but truthfully, they're books that I haven't read or run into. He reads a lot of Jack Carr's novels, and I think he's very popular amongst those listeners, but he really hasn't done anything outside of that besides Project Hail Mary that I've come across. Sometimes a narrator leaves me feeling like they've ignored inflection completely or like they've done it just in key moments. But Ray Porter performs this book. His narration was so true to life and so believable that I didn't even feel like Ray Porter and the character could possibly be separate. When I Googled him, there was absolutely nothing that I expected in front of me. I was so shocked by who I saw, and after a minute it made sense, but I had to kind of watch some videos because what he looks like and what I had as the vision in my head of the character in Project Hail Mary were completely different. Eventually my brain resolved the conflict, but man, Ray Porter, phenomenal narrator, and I really got very quickly why this audiobook was so popular. He's just that skilled. Structurally, the book follows a conversational, sort of thinking out loud format. It flashes back and forth in time between present day, while our main character, Ryland Grace, is on this mission, and the past, where you learn how the mission got set up and how he got to the point that he is when we meet him. Now, the flashbacks really help develop his character, and you start to understand exactly why he's making the decisions that he's making present day, why he's acting the way he's acting, and it's incredibly well done and well crafted, and I loved the back and forth between present day and the past. It was seamless and it made complete sense. This book is full of science. Like sciencey science, like nerdy science, like lab science. And here's the thing, I'm not a sciencey person, and I felt like I understood everything. It's told in such a simple, plain English way that even if you're not a sciencey person, you can really appreciate it and you can follow along. Now, was the science factual? I have no idea. Honestly, I know some of it was not factual because some of it doesn't make sense given the universe we live in. However, there was a lot that I think is probably based in real science because it was just too good and too consistent not to have some root in reality. But man, I felt so smart listening to this book because I felt like I was understanding these really complicated concepts that actually I have no idea about. I probably really wasn't understanding anything, but the book sold me that I was, which was awesome. I was totally invested in this book. I was totally invested in the fate of the characters. I was totally invested in the outcome. I was invested 100% of the way through. There really were no dips for me in how interested I was. I was very eager to return to listening to the book when I was on a break from it, like, at my job. But I really enjoyed every moment of the book. It was an absolute 5-star read for me. It did not fall short of expectations. I totally understand why everyone raves about it. I will absolutely revisit this book again one day. I'm glad that it's part of my permanent collection. And I really, really recommend this book. If you're not into science, it kind of doesn't matter. If you are into science, I think you'd enjoy this too. Andy Weir, the author, also wrote The Martian, and from what I have heard, this book is light years, pun intended, better than The Martian, although I haven't read that, so I can't attest to it personally. But remember, you might love what I hate and hate what I love, so make your own opinion. But thanks for listening to mine. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.